Hello, everybody. Welcome to MAWS Talks Wrestling. We are your hosts. I am LunaKage,
And I am Glenburg.
and we're doing it a little bit late this week, but it shouldn't be too big of a deal as long as I get it up tonight. We have quite a bit to talk about. Actually, we just have the Raw and the NXT really, but there's things going on, so
Right.
I guess we could just get right into it. Starting off with NXT, basically because it's developmental, so it goes on first.
Yeah.
I was, they did the thing where Summer Rae came back, but I was legitimately surprised to see that they were still going with Charlotte as a heel.
Right. I would have expected something like um Charlotte. I was gonna expect two things, to be honest. I was gonna expect it'll be a situation where Sasha encourages Charlotte to do something she doesn't want to.
Right,
Boom, that's their feud. Or like when they were beating up on Bailey. I didn't know if maybe Charlotte would show a little, face signs,
right.
having Summer, and then that would have formed an alliance with Summer and Sasha. I don't know. So
Yeah, like it's interesting too because Charlotte, she's not exactly the prettiest um, girl as far as like looks go, but she's got one of
right,
those fucking $1 million smiles, man. Like, so
right,
like she would actually that technically makes her good for both roles. Like, when she scowls, she looks like a fucking badass bitch, but when she smiles, she's just fucking lighting up a room. So uh, she really should keep the smiling to a minimum if she's going to keep going with the heel thing. But
that's
it,
true.
it, it definitely, like, due to what happened at Takeover and everything for the after show, you know, it just looked like she was going for a face. Like she didn't do anything heelish. She didn't look or act like a heel
Yeah,
at all.
yeah.
So
She looked humbled after the match.
right,
Mm. Yeah, but I guess for right now, I'm wondering if we're gonna have a six diva tag match next week, sponsored by Teddy Long.
oh, most definitely. It'd be nice to have Teddy Long come back in some way, shape, or form, though. He's getting old, though, so you know
Yeah.
um, that'd be cool, though. We had
Uh-huh.
Tyson Kidd. He once again it looked like he was turning heel. Frustrated as hell after Takeover, but he
Mhm.
came back and kind of just negated that by saying, I was a dick last week, but give me another shot at the title, and that'd be pretty cool. And so we're gonna get a
Yeah.
rematch at some point. I think it might even be next week. I don't know.
I kind of all I know what you mean, but I kind of also saw it as him trying to play Adrian Neville because he's a fighting champion. Fighting champions are, they must live up to being a fighting champion no matter what, even if somebody challenges them on the spot.
I mean, yeah, but
Yeah.
you know, I guess we'll have to see. It could just be slow builds, maybe, because it did look like there was some kind of immediate dissension between the BFFs when they showed up. So it could just be a bunch of little things that could lead into a Charlotte face turn. And Tyson Kidd, I guess, is going to be repackaged soon. So him as a character isn't going to be around much longer anyway.
Yeah. So to comment on that Charlotte situation, it can, Summer Rae is pretty manipulating. She can be, so she might influence Sasha to fight with her, or if they really are gonna go with Charlotte being the face, because at the end of the day, everyone's out for their own self.
Right.
Stables don't hang around that long if they have a champion. I mean, it's a different case with someone like Triple H carrying a group like Evolution or something.
I mean, it's like I said a few shows ago. In an all man stable, or just a stable with mostly men in it. There are multiple championships for men.
Yes.
You
Right,
have the
right.
world title. You have two mid card titles. You have the tag
Tag
team
title.
titles.
Yeah.
So Evolution worked perfectly because at the time Raw had the world title, the tag team
Uh huh.
titles, and intercontinental title. You had four members in Evolution. Triple H held the world title, Randy Orton held the intercontinental title, and Batista and Ric Flair held the tag team titles. So it all worked out because they they were happy where they were at the time. They liked being a dominant force. Triple
Right.
H was the only one that really needed the world title, but that's what eventually led to the breakup. Like Randy Orton got a shot at the title, so
Yeah.
he won the title and got kicked out of Evolution. Triple H won the title back. Then Batista wanted the title. They teased that for a while till he won the Royal Rumble that year, and challenged Triple H for his title. So he effectively was out of Evolution too. So not only is it not only are men's stables much more stable throughout their life
Uh-huh.
because of the multiple titles, but they also give a perfect built-in reason for a breakup down the line, which is that
Yeah.
title. Um,
Yeah. They'll end up lasting longer than a female stable where you only have the one belt, and of course, females will be jealous of each other.
yeah, like
So,
female stables make no sense because of
all
that. Like
like
that's
beautiful
really,
people.
yeah, that's really the only reason they don't make sense. Like, on the surface, a female stable makes just as much sense as a male stable, but when you only got one belt, to work for, when the goal of the stable is for the main character of the stable to get the belt, what's the point? Every woman should be trying to get that belt. So,
Yeah. Okay. Now that I look at it even more, there's no way they're all going to be on the same page because Summer is trying to be her own. She has her own identity at this point. She's not going to sit there and support Charlotte.
right.
You know, so I'm pretty sure that's what's going to lead to maybe Charlotte getting a face turn. And I think when it comes to Diva stables, it has to probably be a max of two because Lay Cool worked out so well.
Well,
You know,
Lake
well,
Cool also had like a benefit of a couple different things. Like they did an angle where they both had the women's championship.
yeah, that's what I was thinking
You
of too
know,
when it broke in half and
yeah,
yeah, they were like, "You're the champion, no, you're the champion," and
yeah.
all that stuff.
But
Yeah,
but you can't always do that. Like
right.
so. I don't know. Just women's tag teams in companies where there's no tag team belts for them. It doesn't make sense for them to be teams.
Mhm.
Um, not that women's tag team belts are any are going to make much of a difference for a company like WWE because they already give their women's division nothing.
Right.
And like I pointed out with with what I would do if they had a second women's belt again, I think that'd be a pretty decent idea. Like
Mhm.
if they were to prominently feature the women, they could easily get away with having two belts and a tag team belt for women. They could easily get away with it. But since they're not going to give the women the time or the importance, then it's never going to work. And it's not like there's no
Mhm.
talented women on the roster. Like even fucking the Bellas are decent.
Right.
And then you have straight up good talents. Like you have Paige, she's good. All the women in NXT, which are good, that will eventually
Yeah.
be in the main roster. You have Natalia.
Yes.
AJ, I'm sure, would be even better if she was like fucking not a heel anymore because, her
Uh-huh.
gimmick was pretty much just losing and then randomly getting the win, which technically is a babyface thing to do uh,
Right.
in
Huh.
WWE. But like I'm sure she could put on pretty good matches if they got the time, but they never get the time. And due to the way they book the women, like all the women's champions just look so weak because fucking that's how they justify giving title shots, because they don't really have angles. So it's like, oh, they had a 5 minute match on Raw where the champion was pinned in a non title match, so that means that she's the number one contender. So this is every fucking time. Like, this is like every week or every month. That's how it happens.
Like that's really inconsistent.
Yeah,
You know.
like the whole thing about AJ, like AJ is like my favorite diva overall right now. Um, just because I liked her back when she first started her crazy gimmick, which I think was a lot of people's start for her. But
Right.
I liked her in general before then, not as a wrestler, but because like she was cute and she didn't have fucking triple D's and shit. But like I liked her and I was like, oh, this could be cool. But then when she was a champion, being the longest reigning champion doesn't mean shit if you do nothing but lose all of your non-title matches and then just randomly get a fluke
And then
win.
win the big ones. Yeah.
Like it's not a strong reign. There's no reason to want to support that, and it's frustrating because they have a decent amount of talent that they can work with. Like even if you're going with the girls that aren't necessarily all stars in the ring, but can still do something like Oksana. Like
Right.
I don't consider her to be the greatest wrestler of all time or anything, but she's got a pretty smash mouth style for a woman. You could totally make that work. You
Hmm.
know, it's just they choose not to, and that's the thing. That's fucking bullshit.
We're holding you back.
Pretty much.
Hmm. Let's see. So besides that on NXT, if you want to go into Tyler Bree's music video, which was like studio version.
They're doing stuff with them, which is good. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not saying I was really a fan of the segment or anything, but they've done this before for people. Like Shawn Michaels, he did his own fucking entrance music, which is what Tyler Breeze is doing now. And then
Uh-huh.
the whole music video thing, like that was done for the Freebirds.
Yeah, the Freebirds music video was so
Yeah,
tripped out.
I can't really think of anything recent as far as that goes, other than Tyler Breeze, but they did it for
Uh-huh.
the Freebirds, so it's just it's them doing something with Tyler Breeze, which is good because I was kind of worried at first when I first started watching NXT, which was Arrival, was when I
Right.
started. Tyler Breeze, all he was doing was getting squashed. Like he had a match with Xavier Woods and got squashed by Rusev, who came out to interrupt. And then I think 2 weeks later, he got squashed by Rusev. He was just getting fed to people, and I was like, okay, so he's just going to be another comedy gimmick that's just supposed to be obnoxious. But then they
Hmm.
started doing stuff with him, and suddenly his credibility's up. Like it's not hard to save somebody from the scrap heap. All you got to do is just be willing to put in the effort to make it work.
Right. That's true, and now he's like the number one contender for the NXT title.
Yeah.
Funny how that works out. Let's see. Well, Mojo Rawley defeated Aiden English. That was that. What do you think about Jason Jordan and Tyler Dillinger?
I'm glad you mentioned it because I had completely forgotten. But I have a small beef, I guess you could say, with Jason Jordan in particular.
Uh-huh.
His finishing move is the angle slam,
Right, talking about the Jordan
the
Slam.
Jordan slam, and that's the funniest fucking thing too because now that move is officially the name slam. That's all that move is now. Like because before, like I don't know about any other countries or anything, but at least in America, the only person that used it was Kurt Angle, and it was the Angle Slam. It used to be the Olympic Slam, but then it became the
Yeah.
Angle Slam. So now
Yeah,
now
some
that Jason Jordan was like, I'm gonna take my last name, use the Angle Slam, and then use my last name Slam. So now that that's what it is, it's just last name Slam. So it could be anybody. It could be Cena Slam, Orton Slam, fucking Kane Slam. So
right.
theoretically, now it's just a move, which is interesting to me.
Now it's in the same family as Bombs,
It,
like Awesome Bomb,
yeah.
you know,
I mean, like,
Jackknife, yeah.
honestly, I'd much rather see Paige use the move and just have that be the page turner because the page
All
turner
right.
as it is, I don't think is really good. Like it could be a good signature move, but it's definitely not something.
It's like when you create a wrestler in a SmackDown game and you give them something like a face plant or a DDT or something, and that's the finisher.
You're right. Just something really simple and shit.
Yeah, that because it's a finisher, it has like 10 times the effect.
Yeah.
Like like Ziggler's famouser versus Billy Gunn's famouser.
Yep. Pretty much. Which made it particularly jarring when they were both on the same card for a while.
I remember that.
And like he calls it the same thing because it's a direct homage, you know. So
Right. This is the S grade one.
it's like I mean, you could technically just say, Billy Gunn does it better. There's always a good way to um, write off. Well, not necessarily write off, but explain away things. But my point for the DDTs still kind of stands because the power levels for DDTs are all over the place. Um,
Girl bye.
the people that use it as a finisher of days of old, Jake the Snake was like the first one.
Uh-huh.
Fucking Raven used DDT as a finisher,
Right.
and that's fine and good. You could say that, I mean, Jake the Snake was the creator, so of course he's going to kayfabe be the best person at using it.
Uh-huh.
And you could just say that Raven is just really, really, really fucking good at using it. But since there's 90 million different variations of it, nowadays, to say that someone who is so ass in the ring, like Cameron, is better at using a DDT than any other diva on the roster is just asinine. Like it's not a thing. It's not. And then to say that, fucking say that's hold on, what's a good example? Like a tornado DDT. Who uses that nowadays?
I'm trying to think anyone who pretty much is a high flyer.
Oh, here's a good example. Fucking Ziggler, his crazy ass fucking high angle DDT. Where he jumps in the air and it looks like he's about to get like fucking spiked, but then like his opponent falls on their head. That DDT theoretically should be much stronger than even Jake the Snake's because
Right.
he's putting a lot of stank on it. It's not just a normal DDT. It's a DDT with this crazy ass fucking shit that's going to add like momentum and force and all that shit.
Yeah, not just lay down.
But he doesn't get the pin off of that move.
That's always tripped out when a signature move looks like it can be a finisher.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially since the zigzag looks retarded.
Yeah. Ah, my back. Oh my god. Yeah, let's see. And then of course, did they really say that the Adrian Neville match against Justin Gabriel was a non-title? I mean, was a title no disqualification match?
Huh? No, that.
I thought I saw like in the banner it said it was a championship no disqualification match.
I'm pretty sure that was non-title.
Because I know I saw the words under it, but I'm like, wait, is this really a title match?
No.
Maybe that was some thing that they forgot to take down, but I know I saw it. I'm not blind. But yeah, I guess that was a decent match. Wasn't bad.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about the NXT weekly shows is that, the matches could be good. It's just like it's harder to get into them because they are weekly shows, and that's kind of just me. And that's not to say that a weekly show like Raw, SmackDown, or NXT can't have pay-per-view quality matches on it. It just doesn't
Right.
feel as important, really.
Doesn't feel the same when they do a live special.
Yeah, like, I mean, the first Cesaro, well, not the first, but the Cesaro versus Zayn match, the first to two falls, the best 2 out of 3 falls match, that was before they even started doing the specials. So, obviously a good match can take place on there, but, the Tyler Breeze versus Neville match is not going to seem nearly as important as the Tyson Kidd Neville match did, because it's going to happen on a weekly show.
Right. Because that Triple H said the next one is not going to happen until like almost fall, I believe.
Right, they're going to be doing it quarterly and stuff.
Yeah. Hmm. And then, what did Tyler Breeze say he was going to be doing in the meantime? He just said, remember how at the end he said he's just going to leave it up in that? Yeah, that's right. He just showed us music video then.
Yeah. Pushing Breeze to the moon, Jack. He's ready, brother.
Right. So now I guess we skip it 1, 2, skip a few, and we're at Monday Night Raw.
Yeah. As far as Raw goes, I can't really remember too many significant things until the ending. Obviously, like the whole show was just kind of sleepy for me. Like there was a couple things like the Stephanie and Cena promo. You know, that was one thing.
I guess I want to comment on that right quick. Part of me is actually hoping that they end up turning the Money in the Bank into a championship.
Well,
Money in the Bank.
Here's the thing. I guess what's going to happen is that if Daniel Bryan doesn't, if Daniel Bryan can't compete, then there will be 2 Money in the Banks, one for the title, and then one for the traditional, Money in the Bank shot.
Oh, really? I didn't know that part.
Yeah.
Okay.
If that were to happen, I think it would be a good idea for everybody who qualifies for the Money in the Bank, like who wins their qualifying matches, for those guys to be in the title match, and whoever lost those matches.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah.
Then that's like a second chance. You all are in the number 1 contender match because you were chosen for Money in the Bank to begin with.
Right.
Yeah.
Because to be honest, man, like because the first qualification match we saw was Ziggler versus Alberto Del Rio.
Right.
And I'm like, I swear to fucking God, if Alberto Del Rio wins this fucking match, and of course he wins the fucking match, because no, don't put Ziggler in a fucking ladder match. No, yeah, let's have fucking Alberto Del Rio instead of Ziggler, who could easily be fucking, make the show at a ladder match.
Yeah, like I was watching the 2010 one again earlier. It was on a network. He was in that match.
Yeah.
When it was like Big Show on the big ass ladder.
Oh, of course, yeah. Fucking, and I hate it when fucking they put those big ass motherfuckers in ladder matches. Like the ladder match, at least nowadays, has become the staple of the guys that can, go, I guess you could say. I can't necessarily say cruiserweights. I can't necessarily say high flyers, because that's not what I'm talking about.
And WWE doesn't own the X division yet.
Right. But I'm saying, like, I would much rather see Dolph Ziggler and even Alberto Del Rio in a ladder match than the Big Show or Kane.
Kane actually won that one too. That was the funny thing.
Of course he did. It's not like big guys can't be in ladder matches, because, Scott Hall was part of the most famous ladder match in fucking history with Shawn Michaels, but it's not his match. That even though he won that match, that still goes down in history as Shawn Michaels' match. Because he made it, and that's kind of what it is. Like, take any of the successful Money in the Banks, like say the one that Kane won. I don't necessarily remember that one, but take the one that he won, and I doubt that any good thing in that match happened because of him. He was just the winner,
He was just the winner.
It's just I don't know, like I just don't like seeing big dudes take up spots in ladder matches, because it's like, what are they going to do? They're just going to be a punching bag, and then they're going to be the guy that hits dudes with stuff, and that's going to be it. And then they might win. They're not going to do anything good.
they're gonna be the pain in the ass to deal with.
Yeah.
They're pretty much another obstacle to deal with besides climbing the ladder, which is hard enough when you're dealing with a bunch of other fast dudes.
Right.
Yeah, so
But honestly, from what I kept hearing, Daniel Bryan, like he's in like pretty bad shape as far as recovering goes.
uh,
Um, but despite that, they're still thinking that even if he's not ready, he's still going to compete at Money in the Bank.
really,
Yeah.
well, I guess cause how soon did like Lita come back from a neck injury? Like I know Lita and Stone Cold are the two major neck injuries I remember.
I mean, but that's the thing that kind of worries me though. I mean, if he's not ready to come back, if he's still in bad shape when he gets in the ring, you know, he's still going to give it his all, and it's not necessarily going to be a bad match, even though it is going to be a bad match, because fucking it's going to be a goddamn stretcher match with Kane. Like, come on.
Yeah,
Like,
that's how you know that they're trying to
like
be slick with
it's
that, making it a stretcher match.
it's just it's bad enough that
I
fuck.
don't want to see him fight Kane again.
I mean, obviously, but I don't want to see him fight before he's ready. And
Yeah,
the fact that they're trying to, well, not they, but him, like it's a personal thing. Like he doesn't want to be the guy that's you know says he can't do it. You know, he's not that kind of guy. So
that's true.
you know, there's a bunch of self, you know, self pressure. But I don't want to see him.
Yeah, he's not. I don't want to see some John Cena bullshit again, where like you come back like 3 months early from a supposed 6 month
Well, no,
surgery.
it's not even that because John Cena was ready to come back because he's made out of fucking titanium and shit. I'm saying,
Right.
for one, I don't want him to come back before he's ready, period. For two, if he's going to force himself to come back early when he's not ready, I certainly don't want it to be in a fucking match with Kane. Because it's fucking Kane. If you're gonna put yourself, your career on the line for the fans, then don't do it in a match that's fucking no one wants to see.
Yeah.
It's at the point where it's like I hope Daniel Bryan doesn't come back for Money in the Bank because I really don't want to see this match.
I mean, he can still be popular when he comes back after an injury. Most wrestlers do that. I mean, we've seen Triple H do it. He was out for a long time before he returned
Yeah,
because of the quadricep thing. You know, so it's not like we just need to hurry up and see you again.
yeah.
And, I mean,
But
yeah, I would rather the title move forward
I'm,
than Daniel Bryan have a half-ass recovery.
yeah, I mean on the plus side though, this does kind of you know this is kind of proving that WWE aren't treating Bryan like they were before. You know,
Hmm.
they've penciled him in as main eventer now. You know, he's not the dude that's never gonna have a title after this. You know, like people
Right.
were thinking after he won it several times, but got it stripped immediately. You know, now they've kind of proved like, okay, we're so cool with him having the title now that we skipped a championship match on a pay per view. You know,
Wow.
we're so cool with him having the title that we are keeping it on him even though he's injured because we don't want to take it off of him right away.
After the hell that the fans put us through.
Yeah. So it's at least we got that. You know, it's not gonna be like before. When he comes back, he's gonna be one of the guys that could be champion again. You know.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I don't think he should come back really soon though. And I wonder if this is all going to be a break for everyone anyway, because if him and Bree is taking a break, and I'm wondering if Nikki is on her way off TV too, because you see when they had her team up against Alicia Fox and Oksana, if you saw that 2 minutes,
2 minutes.
I mean,
I think I
yeah, I
might
mean
have missed that. I might have looked away.
it was a 2 minute match and a 2 minute post segment. Alicia talking about some hashtag winner
Mhm.
and all that stuff and beating her up, and Oksana just being a tool helping.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oksana don't care. She'll just fuck anybody up. She's like,
yeah,
"Oh, are we beating fuckers up? Yay!"
Yeah.
Let me do this in my singlet.
My singlet. That's good stuff. But yeah, I am kind of hoping the Money in the Bank thing happens because I mean, at least they would switch it up for once. I mean, that'd be a better ladder match if you actually can grab the belts and not just a
Yeah,
briefcase.
I mean, like, I guess it wouldn't be Money in the Bank if it was for the titles. It would just be another fucking ladder match, but that's besides the point, you know? I don't care what you call it. Fact of the matter is, if you got a ladder match with fucking 6, 7 guys, and it's for the title, you know, instead of for the Money in the Bank. Because the Money in the Bank, you know, that's it's important in a sense that it gives you that title shot. But
Right,
it's not important in a sense that it's fucking stupid. And
right,
I will always say that about the Money in the Bank. I think the concept is dumb. It's basically treated like the 24/7 rule back in the hardcore title days, you know.
uh-huh,
And it just pisses me off whenever I see somebody cash in, and you know, like it was obviously awesome when Edge did it because it was like holy shit, the heel gets a loophole, you know, all that shit, and it was Edge and he beat Cena for it. So like all the things, all the planets aligned, and it was like all right, that's a great moment, you know, the heel Edge takes out the babyface Cena when
the way
everybody
it was,
hates Cena,
yeah,
and
yeah,
Edge
that was
was
the best
not
way.
Edge was not a main eventer at the time, so it was like everything was good, you know. Now
Uh-huh.
it's like, oh, we give the Money in the Bank to Randy Orton, a multi-time world champion, and then he cashes in on somebody who just fucking went through a match so that Randy Orton gets it without having to try. You know, it's not doing anything important anymore. You know, it's not getting guys over, especially when, like, you know, you have guys like Sandow who held the Money in the Bank at one time, and when
Yeah, and like, yeah, it wasn't just him and Kennedy, the people who lost it, or was Cena also on that list
well,
too of people who didn't have a successful cash in?
Cena did not have a successful cash in.
Right,
Kennedy actually lost his chance at cashing it in.
because he put it on the line,
Yeah,
from what I remember. Yeah,
and
against Edge.
Sandow lost it to Cena. You know, so I guess I can partially understand because you know you can't just have you know the Money in the Bank because it used to be whenever somebody saw somebody with the briefcase, it was like okay, that means he's the next champion because no one's ever lost it. You know,
Right.
so they had to start switching, you know, like shifting things up, which is fine. But now that there's only one main title and now only one Money in the Bank, you know, you can't just be treating the title like garbage like that all the time because it's stupid. It really is. It's like okay, fucking, we just had this great match. It was awesome. Fucking, you know, Daniel Bryan versus John Cena. It's cool and everything, and then suddenly, uh cash in time, and then it just kind of ruins the whole thing. Like,
It's like all the effort they put through for 30 minutes, and
yeah.
now you gotta deal with this shit.
Though I guess if I'm being perfectly fair, it will kind of make certain things like when Daniel Bryan cashed in on the Big Show after the Big Show beat Mark Henry in a chairs match for the world title.
Right, right.
You know, like that was cool because it was like Big Show versus Mark Henry. That was already lame. Big Show
Uh-huh.
wins. Daniel Bryan
Yeah,
comes in, cashes
a
in.
better,
You know,
basically better outcome in the end.
but I mean, like just in general, I don't like it. I would much rather the Money in the Bank be a more number one contender type thing, where instead of having cash in opportunities, it's hey, next pay per view, that's when I want my shot. You know, like
Right.
instead of oh he's coming in, is he gonna cash in? The belt's just a prop. I don't know. I guess you could call me a belt mark because I really am. that's just
Belt mark.
that's kind of how I feel. So you know, I'm proud to say it. You know, the way I see it, if these belts are supposed to mean something, then
They better feel like world class titles.
Yeah, like that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, yeah, I don't blame you. Let's see. So yeah, I mean, the only other things that really happened on Raw were kind of mid card related stuff. Um, so I guess might as well get to the main point of playing. Oh yeah, Batista quit again.
Yay!
And I
Yay!
think his whole return was meant to just be comic relief because he gave us like so many memes since he came back.
I mean, that's the funny thing because when he came back, it was obviously supposed to be, like if things would have went the way they wanted to, he'd probably still be world champion right now.
Yeah, they hyped him up as 2002 Batista.
Yeah, but since everything went wrong and they had no idea what they wanted to do with him for a while, and they stuck him in, it was the best saving grace they could have did. Evolution versus Shield. That
Uh-huh.
was cool, but he was definitely the odd man out like the whole time. It didn't feel so much like Evolution versus Shield. It felt like Triple H and his buddies versus Shield.
Right, yeah,
because
it just doesn't feel the same.
because the thing about Evolution is that it got over the people it needed to get over, but it was always about Triple H,
Uh-huh.
back in the day and even now. So now it was like, all right, Evolution's back together, but clearly the power level of all these guys has dropped substantially now that they're in Evolution. And it didn't help that they were losing all their matches because obviously it was a feud with the Shield and Shield never lost. So it was just kind of interesting how you know and guys like Batista and Randy Orton, they barely got any mic time during this whole thing too, so they just kind of felt like set pieces during the whole thing.
Yeah, they pretty much had to step. They pretty much had to take two steps back,
Yeah.
from what they're used
Which
to.
which I am fine with because I mean I would love to stop seeing those two in main event shit, like for the
Uh-huh.
title. So I'm
Right.
cool with that. I'd even be fine with them being tag team champions as long as they fucking were an actual mid card tag team that could lose to guys like the Usos. I'd be cool with it.
Uh-huh.
Fucking, they can call themselves, Devolution.
Devolution.
Yeah. Fucking, it's just like I don't want to see them in main event shit anymore. Just they're
Yeah.
they're legends. They're gonna be legends one day, probably Hall of Famers. But there's no reason for them to be world heavyweight champion in 2014.
Yeah, they're at the point of their career where they pretty much would just help someone get over.
Yeah, and it's a big way of getting over too. I mean, Batista is still pegged as this unstoppable monster, So whoever beats him is a big deal. Daniel Bryan made him tap out. That's a huge deal, you know.
Right. It's funny, it's kind of like we know Kane isn't that unstoppable, but I guess he's always built that way.
Yeah, I mean, guys like that have staying power. Like he,
What the?
it's hard to shit on Kane because he's Kane.
Uh-huh.
He's been around for a long time, and it's actually hard to believe that there was ever a time he wasn't around.
Yeah, that's true. Uh, I just saw like this is like completely off topic. Um, a video named Hangover with Psy and Snoop Dogg. That's a hell of a collaboration.
Okay.
The Korean dude,
Yeah,
Gangnam
the
Style.
Gangnam Style guy. I know. It's,
Videos about having a hangover. But that caught me off guard. But yeah, let's continue.
jeez.
Yeah.
So what was I saying? Oh yeah, Batista, Randy Orton. That's pretty much it. Like I'm not opposed to them being around. I'm just opposed to them being around taking up spots that other guys could have.
Uh-huh. Yeah, 'cause there was like a whole period when it was just Orton, and then when he had Money in the Bank again, I was like, oh my God, that feels so wasted.
Yeah, yeah. Orton winning, like it's funny because whenever Orton wins anything, it just feels so wasted.
Yeah. he's destined for greatness, man. That Money in the Bank went a little too far. Ended up having a damn two belts.
Fucking destined for greatness, and that's the funny thing, because he's already had greatness. Let
Uh-huh.
somebody else have greatness for a while.
Yeah. Evolution is a mystery.
Although I will admit the whole evolution getting back together thing, for as short lived as it was, I am glad we got to hear that theme on TV for a while.
Yeah, I
Every
did.
theme that Triple H is ever associated with is always amazing, in my opinion. Maybe it's
Yeah.
just me, but I love all of his themes.
No, I enjoy him too. I don't blame you. Evolution is a mystery. But let's see. Yeah, but okay, so the point after that is Triple H was talking about Plan B, and it was revealed at the end of the night that Seth Rollins turned on the Shield.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It was random, and we still don't know the reason why he did it, because on SmackDown he didn't say anything.
He just said it's good for him. He owe himself everything, not no one else.
Yeah, I mean, it pissed me off at first, because it's like, you take the most natural baby face of the three and then you turn him heel, and
Yeah.
but at the same time it's like, that no one was expecting it. But the thing that hurt the most is that now the Shield's not together.
Yeah,
Like,
like what are Ambrose and
yeah.
Reigns gonna do for now?
It's not going to be the same if it's just the two of them, and it'll kind of soil the legacy a little bit if they add more people at this point.
Uh-huh.
Not to say that they can't have alliances, but saying, "Oh, we got a new member of the Shield," that would be a little bit shitty. Also, I'd like to note that at least at
Then it kind of
SmackDown,
turns in when they kept doing like different versions of the Nexus,
yeah,
like CM Punk's version and all that.
right. I like to note though that at least on SmackDown, Seth Rollins still wore his SWAT gear.
Yeah,
I guess we'll find out, because he did used to be a guy who wore trunks. That,
right.
but I don't know if they might just not be that quick to change. But I also have a theory, and I think quite a few people have this theory with me, and it might just be like wishful thinking. But
Inside job.
right, like there are a lot of people that think that this might just be a double agent thing.
Uh-huh.
And I guess on SmackDown, I didn't see it, but I read the spoilers. So apparently, from what I heard, Seth Rollins was a little more hesitant in cooperating with Triple H and shit, or something like that.
Uh-huh. Right.
And something that I was thinking is that since Triple H was saying that he wasn't going to stop until the Shield was destroyed, I'm thinking that maybe Seth Rollins, they had him go in as a double agent to try and, you know, dismantle that, and like
Right.
kind of get them out of the way, so that instead of just having match after match over and over again, instead they could just eliminate Evolution from the inside out, and that
Yeah.
could happen, but it might not. At the same time, it's just weird. The one thing that I think is good that's going to come out of this is that we're
Uh-huh.
going to be able to see Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins.
Yeah. That's gonna definitely happen.
Yeah, and it could
It's gonna be the first opportunity we get to see singles competition
yeah,
with these guys.
and it could be at Money in the Bank. It could be as soon as Money in the Bank. If they don't put those two in the Money in the Bank match, then they'd at least have them face each other. Apparently, the plan is to have Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns at Money in the Bank, and then have
Uh,
Roman Reigns versus Triple H at SummerSlam.
that makes sense.
Yeah, and like it's kind of annoying because once again, Roman Reigns is the one fighting the main eventers when they already did all this work to uh, make all three of the Shield main eventers. All three of those guys right now are at the kayfabe power level to be able to take on, main event guys.
That's true.
Because they, at first they were pushing Roman Reigns pretty much exclusively. Well, not at first, but during the Royal Rumble time, because he was taking out guys that the other two couldn't, like Mark Henry. Like Dean Ambrose had to retain his title against Mark Henry, but he wasn't able to do it, so the Shield got a disqualification.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
But then Roman Reigns goes in there and squashes Mark Henry in 4 minutes, and then Roman Reigns beating Kane's elimination record. Obviously they were doing that, but in between then and now, they were doing such good in, evening the guys out, saying like, oh, all these guys are, totally gonna be, main eventers too.
Right.
And I'm thinking, because like if you think about it, one of the things that doesn't make it quite as surprising about Roman Reigns switching is that he is technically one of Triple H's boys. If you think about it, he was the very first NXT champion.
Right, I see what you're saying.
So like he's obviously just a little bit more important than everyone was initially believing.
Another kayfabe choice is that he's always been the brains of the Shield.
The architects. Right. So, there's that too. So, I mean, the whole thing where Roman Reigns is going to be fucking pretty much facing Evolution by himself now. Like, oh, I'm going to fight Randy Orton, and then I'm going to fight Triple H, and I'm going to beat everybody because I'm the best, and, I'm ready, brother, push me to the moon, brother Jack dude, fucking, it's cool and everything, Roman Reigns is a cool dude. He's not my favorite, he's my least favorite of the Shield, but, like, it's cool that he's gonna get a push. I just hope that they do something with it and include all three of those guys. Like, heel or not, I need to see a triple threat between those guys at some point, now that they've been on the main roster.
Right, yeah. What if it's all in SWAT gear, too?
Like the Shield's last hurrah, in SWAT gear. They all go through the crowd for the last time.
I can see that.
Yep.
But yeah. And let's see. So yeah, Raw ended on that note. I'm guessing SmackDown, I didn't see the whole thing, but yeah, like we said, he didn't really explain himself. Then he fought the Big Show in the main event. He stumped the Big Show. That was that. So yeah, now I'm guessing we just wait for the next events that should happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's really all we can do at this point. Like we kind of been left on a cliffhanger, and it should be good. Like, I was disappointed at first because the Shield's not together, but like I get over things fast, so I'm looking forward now to what they're doing with it as opposed to what they've done with it.
Right, you can always set something up, but you gotta have a good, strong finish.
Right. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah. So we did NXT and Raw. Want to go ahead and talk about the old Diva of the Week, maybe?
Do you have one this week?
Not exactly, but if you're relating it to progress, this week starting from Sunday. Damn, we can't keep giving this to Charlotte.
It would just be too easy. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. I know exactly who I'm gonna give it to. I'm gonna give it to Bayley.
Yeah, cause she stood up and still smiled after
Well,
the
I mean,
beatdown.
she's all kinds of awesome.
Just
just for
like
one, like
a hybrid of like happy things, fangirl,
and
give everybody hugs.
I think that character is kind of awesome too. Like,
Yeah,
as long as they don't fucking, like, when she moves up to the main roster, as long as they don't pair her up with Santino, you know,
don't do it,
just
please, yo.
fucking stop doing that.
She kind of has like an anime character personality, but she's like really good as a technical wrestler. It's tripped
Yeah,
out.
she's cool. Like, I'd kind of actually. Oh, by the way, it's funny you said anime character, because during the episode of NXT when she came out on
They have those.
they had pictures of her as an anime character, like on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
sides of her Tron, and I was like, that's adorable.
Yeah, I thought that was cool too.
I,
Yeah,
I'd like to see like her thing be when she gets to the main roster, at least before she's wrestling a lot. Like, I'd like to see her like come out with random superstars every week, just like to be their unwilling, like ringside kind of girl.
I'm unwilling.
Like like just have her start coming out, even have her in something as high profile as a main event match and shit. Like, fucking maybe we got Roman Reigns. Let's say he wins the fucking title next month. Oh shit! This fucking my house is falling down.
Damn.
Let's say Roman Reigns is the champion in a couple of months, which could very well happen. But
Right.
like, or better yet, fucking, since it'll be against Triple H, fucking the SummerSlam match, right? Fucking Triple H comes out. Maybe he's accompanied by Steph. Why not? So the
Right.
commentary is like, oh, Stephanie might be the difference maker here, and da da da. Suddenly Roman Reigns comes out with Bailey, and he doesn't know what the fuck she's doing there. Like, no one knows what the fuck Bailey. Like Roman Reigns didn't bring her out there on purpose. He's just kind of tagging along. Like she's like, oh my God, Roman Reigns, call me baby girl. Fucking.
I can see him doing that too.
So it evens up it evens up the playing field a little bit, and then you have Bailey debuting in a pay-per-view in the main event, which I assume that would be the main event because it's Triple H. And then you could potentially see it happen because it's Triple H and NXT.
All right.
And then just have that be your gimmick for a while. She's like, she's always been the starstruck fangirl. So like, just have it be like, like one of the guys is getting ready for their match. She comes in, she's like, oh my God, it's fucking insert name of wrestler here. I'm such a big fan, blah blah blah, and all that shit. And then he's like,
So
all
she's
right,
basically a
that's
fangirl.
cool, but I got to get ready for my match. And they try to walk away, but Bailey just keeps following. And then during the entrance, she's still like trying to talk their ear off and shit. And maybe like holding onto their leg and shit, like just trying to fucking
Yeah, that would work. That would work for her because even when they had people like Kali, come on NXT for an interview, she gives them like a hug and
right,
stuff.
yeah, totally. And
I can see that. That's funny.
yeah, and that would help kind of get her over with the fans as a character, because that kind of thing would be adorable. Like,
Yeah, that would work on Raw too, because I know some characters, the fans will be like, "Whoa, who the hell is this guy?" Because a lot of NXT gimmicks are indies gimmicks, so
Yeah.
it doesn't always translate over to the mainstream, especially if people are caught off guard and they didn't know who they were.
yeah.
Like, what do you think about, well, I guess transitioning, congrats to Bailey being our Diva of the Week, but what do you think about someone like Bo Dallas? How do you think he's been doing so far?
His gimmick is good. I like his gimmick a
Yeah.
lot. I don't necessarily like his in-ring ability that much yet,
Right.
but his gimmick is fucking spot on. Literally, they're doing, ironically, what they're doing with Cena unironically.
Exactly.
Like, Bo Dallas is just, is like pretty much the same character as John Cena, except Cena's the babyface and Bo Dallas is the heel. It's the same fucking character. He goes out, he tries to be inspirational, he tries to get the little Jimmies to believe.
Uh-huh.
He goes out thinking that he's a babyface, yet he's getting booed like a heel, and that's exactly what John Cena does.
Yeah.
So, I think it's a really great gimmick. But, I'm just, I'm just waiting for it to get more fleshed out and maybe see him, improve in the ring some more.
Yeah, I would like to actually see him be a true player too. Um, Adam Rose. I don't know. We kind of see scraps of his in-ring ability.
Yeah, he's going to be a good mid carder, like at the very least. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know if he's ever going to make it higher than that, but if he does, more power to him. But he's an entertaining character, and his in ring ability is a good mid carder. So, like, as he is right now, he's doing perfectly fine. All
Right.
he's got to do is just improve, get better, and get screen time. That's it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Ooh. So yeah, everybody on NXT will hopefully transition over. Oh, one more thing I just wanted to comment. It's kind of weird seeing certain wrestlers break kayfabe because their character stands out so much. Like, so they were showing one of those Make a Wish kind of deals, but I guess it was like Special Olympics, and
Yeah.
the Ascension was one of the people, cheering them on. And I don't know, when I look at the Ascension, I think how like when Undertaker doesn't show up to Hall of Fame,
Right.
and he's still in character. I'm thinking Ascension is like these Illuminati looking
Right.
dudes with heavy metal
And I
music,
mean
and
that's
yeah.
kind of the funny thing because Undertaker, when Undertaker showed up to the Hall of Fame this year, he did it as the Undertaker.
Right, right.
He wasn't a normal guy. He came out. He fucking paid tribute to Paul Bearer the only way that the character could. But
Yeah.
I guess like that's the thing about NXT is that it's not really that serious yet.
Okay.
And I think
Yeah,
it's cool. For one, like most of the time, well, every time, guys like Xavier Woods just go out there to get squashed,
uh-huh.
but he's still doing stuff with WWE in that field. Like he was one of the guys that was helping out Special Olympics, people and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
cool because you don't necessarily need to be a main eventer or even need to be a winner in order to do that stuff. And that's probably what he's doing now. Like it could be in part up to him. Like maybe he's comfortable where he is. Maybe he's not one of the hungry guys that wants to be world champion someday. He's like, you know what? I'm 5 foot nothing and I'm in WWE and I'm black. There's no way I'm going to be the world heavyweight champion. So,
Really.
I mean, it's true.
Well,
The closest thing to a black WWE World Heavyweight Champion we ever had was The Rock. And they gave the normal world title to a few black dudes, but, they never considered that their top title. So I firmly believe that there's a little bit of racism going on in WWE as far as that goes. It's like, we love black dudes, but we're not going to have them be our champion.
I think when there's a will, there's a way.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like...
Well, considering a lot of the characters are either related to some type of urban or hip hop kind of gimmick,
I mean, yeah, I mean,
make them not look serious.
John Cena is our blackest world heavyweight champion.
Right, right.
But
I think every person will differ. It's just we don't get a lot of black superstars like that. But even for not just black people, but like you don't see people like Native American. Last time we saw a Native American person fight is like Tatanka, or like you don't see a Japanese world champion.
oh, you're never going to see that in WWE.
Right, unless
they don't even give them the time of day anymore. Like it's kind of irritating. Like I think they like to put any kind of foreigner. Like, and think about it this way: we still have yet to have a British WWE champion.
Well, if Bad News Barrett is gonna keep
Right.
being as hot as he is now.
I mean, we've had a European WWE champion in the form of Sheamus at the very least, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like it's kind of what they do. Like, they can trust Samoans with it. Like, and I'm not sure why they make an exception for Samoans, but like The Rock being half Samoan, like half black too, which I guess was it probably didn't matter much to Vince because, for one, it was like, all right, well, he's part Samoan and he's fucking The Rock, so. But Farouk was the very first black WCW champion.
Right.
And that was a long time ago. Long time ago. And it's kind of irritating that we haven't had a full, well, it's kind of hard to say full black because that's kind of subjective in the first place, but...
Full black, the most blackest
the
wrestler in the world.
Fucking bring out JTG. Fucking make JTG the very first black WWE champion.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring what Cena started back.
Right.
Nah, it's not a style, dude.
Right. But, I don't know. It'd be nice to see some of that wash away, in future years and stuff, because now that there's no secondary world championship to put on somebody and say that it's as big without it really being as big, because it seems like that's the only reason why they...
You really gotta freaking stand out then, especially if you're not typical white dude or something.
Right.
Yeah, so I think it can change though, because everyone is different, everyone is driven in their own way.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying what people like Xavier Woods is doing is bad or he isn't hungry enough. He probably wanted to, because at the end of the day, WWE is not just a full-blown wrestling company, it's their entertainment company.
Right.
And they do different things to reach people.
Yeah, and that's what Xavier's doing. And, as long as he's doing stuff like that, it's perfectly fine, because I'm sure he gets, a pretty penny for still being able to do stuff like that. He may not get paid as much as guys like John Cena or anything, but, I'm sure he's not one of the guys that's making developmental money anymore.
Right. That's a good point.
All right, so I guess we could probably stop the show here. We did our hour.
Yeah.
There's not really much else to talk about. We had to find about 7 minutes of banter to fill up the last 7 minutes anyway, so I'd say we did a pretty good job. All I had to do was mention black people, and we were on a roll.
Woo!
All right, you guys, and once again, Diva of the Week is Bailey.
Bailey!
Yep, Bailey with that Bailey to belly, dad ass and shit.
Uh-huh.
So we're going to go ahead and end this video here, or the audio, or the whatever.
Yes, sir.
You have been listening to MAWS Talks Wrestling. We have been your hosts. I'm LunaKage.
And I'm Glenburg.
We will see you next time.
Peace.